These are 10 passports, 10 second citizenships you can legally buy in less than 12 months. The first one, the one that I actually hold, St. Kitts and Nevis. This passport, I got it exactly 3 years ago for 150,000 US dollars. It is currently 250,000 US dollars. Current processing times are around 11 to 13 months. So if you're lucky, you can get it in a little under a year. I actually got it in 6 months. So the longer you wait to get one of these passports, the longer you have to wait to actually receive the citizenship and receive the approval. The second one, St. Lucia. And the countries that I will mention in this order are all in the same region of the Caribbean. After the Caribbean, we're going to move on to other regions. We're going to move on to Turkey, to Europe, to Eastern Europe, and so on. For now, let's stick to the Caribbean. St. Lucia is 200,000 US dollars. It is around the same time frame, 12, sometimes 10, sometimes 14 months. Essentially the same passport across all of these Caribbean islands, essentially the same process, just a different country. They have different tax laws as well. So St. Lucia, for example, has taxes if you live there. St. Kitts, for example, you can move there and not pay any taxes legally. Antigua and Barbuda, one place that Americans love to go for vacation. They have 365 beaches, one for every day of the year, is 230,000 US dollars. The difference between these passports is very minimal. You can go to maybe one more or two more countries visa free. So it really depends on your personal preferences. Antigua is taking 9 months on average, around 8 to 10 months. So if you want it slightly faster, this might be a better passport. And also it is tax-free as well if you decide to live there. The next one, for those that want to avoid the hurricane season, slightly avoid, you can never avoid it completely because obviously we've seen the massive hurricanes that went through the United States, killed hundreds of people in this tragic event. You have Grenada. It is outside of the Caribbean hurricane belt, so you're a little bit safer when it comes to hurricane season. You're looking at spending 235,000 US dollars. It is not a tax-free island, but it takes less time than the other passports. So you're looking around 8 to 9 months to receive your Grenadian passport, and you have pretty decent access to countries, for example, like Russia, like China. If you're interested in the east of the world, you want to be away from the west, this could be a great passport for you. And the last and the fastest Caribbean passport is Dominica, and it's also one of the cheapest, 200,000 US dollars. Now, the reason why I don't talk about Dominica so much, it's because it has not the best reputation in the world. A lot of people know about Dominica. They know that they had not the best due diligence across all of the Caribbean. But if you want the cheapest and the fastest passport at an average of 6 to 8 months, you're looking at having a passport potentially in 6 months that you could renounce your US citizenship, you could have just to call another country home, and all of these countries are part of the same Caribbean Union, meaning that if you have a St. Kitts passport, you can go live in Dominica, and if you have a Dominica passport, you can go live in Antigua, and so on. All of these passports and these amounts that I mentioned are donations to the governments, legal donations, and then you get your passport and your lifetime citizenship, and you need to pay some fees on top of that. And if you want to add any family members like spouse, children, dependents, it depends on the country. I'm not going to bore you with the exact amounts, but you will have to pay more fees on top. If you don't want to donate money, you can always buy real estate in the Caribbean, and I have other videos about Caribbean real estate, but I generally don't recommend it because 1, hurricanes, 2, you're buying pre-approved real estate, which is probably not at the value where you're buying it. You're buying something for $300,000 and it's really worth $200,000 just because you want to get citizenship, you buy it at a higher price, and there's also a lot of scams in the Caribbean. If you want to buy real estate and get a second passport and you don't really care about access to Europe, then Turkey could be a good option for 400,000 US dollars at an average processing time of 8 to 10 months. In some cases, a year and a half. I've heard a lot of people have been waiting a year and a half for their Turkish passport. One good thing about Turkey that you might value is that in cases of war or in cases of huge disasters, Turkey is one of those countries that tends to evacuate people the fastest. They evacuate their citizens the fastest. That's why I also talk about Serbia, because in the issues that are happening right now in Lebanon, Serbia was one of the first countries to send an Air Serbia flight evacuating their citizens. So if you have a Serbian passport, you can get evacuated from a tragic situation very quickly. The same thing happens with Turkey. They do have military service, but you can completely get away from that, and your children can also get away from that by just paying a small amount. This passport doesn't give you access to Europe. It gives you access to pretty much the rest of the world, and it gives you a big country to live in by just buying real estate. Now, if you're looking for the cheapest possible passport in the world, that is legal. We're not paying some guy $5K to print out a passport in his home. We're looking at Vanuatu, islands in the Pacific. I was there last year. Pretty beautiful place. There are some typhoons from time to time. It's 130,000 US dollars. Now, their reputation is terrible. They lost access to Europe. They lost access to the UK. They might lose access to other countries. They are fighting for that Schengen, that European access again, but it's not guaranteed. And overall, the reputation around the world of the Vanuatuan passport and also Vanuatuan due diligence is not the best. This one is 130,000 US dollars, so you can get it for the cheapest price possible out of all the citizenship by investment countries, but you're getting a passport that doesn't really have access to most of the world. This is really if you want more banking privacy, or you want just an extra passport to add to a portfolio. If you have 3, for example, or 4, and you want to add on 1 more, this could work for you. And the average processing time for Vanuatuan citizenship is around 3.5 months. So honestly, the fastest out of all of these programs. If you're a very high net worth individual or an ultra high net worth individual or a billionaire, and yes, we have billionaires that watch our channel, not just brokies on YouTube, and you want to go for the big daddy of all passports, that is Malta. We have clients that have gotten Malta. It takes a while. Maybe in some cases it takes less than a year, but in some cases it takes up to 2 years to get citizenship in Malta for around 1.2 million US dollars. And that's going to be in donations, in fees. So you want to say goodbye to that money. That's not buying real estate, although you need to get some real estate either rented or bought in Malta on top of that. And you do need to spend some time in Malta, but you're getting essentially the best passport out of all of these. Gives you access to the US, gives you access to live anywhere in the European Union, and gives you access to over 180 countries around the world with top tier due diligence. Just like what happened with Cyprus, that the program was canceled, I see the Maltese program being canceled over the next 5 years. So if you want to get this passport, I would get it ASAP. The next country is El Salvador. If you're a crypto multi-millionaire and you're willing to give them $1 million USDT or $1 million US dollars in Bitcoin, you can get citizenship in a couple of weeks. We have clients that have been approved in 3 weeks, have had their passport in 4 weeks, and essentially the fastest citizenship by investment legal program in the world. A solid passport gives you access to the Schengen area, to many countries around the world. Obviously in Latin America, they have other treaties with other Latin American countries for faster residency and faster citizenship. It's very expensive, but if you are willing to give that money, then definitely an amazing option, especially for those that want to contribute to El Salvador and want to contribute to the Bitcoin country. 2 other programs that you might laugh at are Egypt, which I think is a terrible idea. People that are getting Egyptian citizenship by investment, $300,000 in real estate or more, are people that already live in Egypt, already have ties to Egypt. I wouldn't really recommend it for anyone. And Cambodia. There are a lot of Chinese people that are looking to get citizenship in Cambodia for $245,000 US dollars just because they want to invest in Cambodia, they want to buy land in Cambodia, and they want to build ties there. So if you want to build ties in any of these 2 countries, you have the ability to get citizenship, but I don't really recommend it. If you're looking to get another passport, I would also consider other regions of the world like non-EU Eastern Europe, countries like Serbia, for example, or Bosnia. These countries can offer citizenship not by investment, not quickly, but if you build ties to the country, if you start a business, you hire a lot of people, you contribute to the economy, you buy a lot of real estate, and overall you tie yourself to the country, it is definitely possible to get citizenship in these countries. And these passports are neutral. They have good relationships with the East, and they have good relationships with the West. They have access to Russia and China, and they have access to the Schengen area and the European Union. Personally, I absolutely love these countries, specifically Serbia and Belgrade. I have a big team in Belgrade, and I recommend a lot of people visit Serbia as well as get residency and citizenship in Serbia. You also have other countries, for example, in Latin America that offer citizenship by exception. Mexico is one of them. Argentina is also potentially one of them, where if you build ties to the country, you contribute to the economy, you can legally be granted citizenship, but you obviously have to spend some time on the ground there. You can't just pay some guy, get a passport. You actually have to spend time there. You have to contribute to the economy. You have to buy real estate. You have to start a business, hire people, and so on. But these are passports that give you access to pretty much all the countries around the world that you would have access to, and countries like Mexico that you could potentially live in. And the last two that I'm going to give you here, which are potential citizenship by investment programs, are Solomon Islands, which has access to the Schengen area, and Ghana. Now, Ghana isn't really a passport that you want, but they are saying that they're willing to give citizenship for around 50 to 100,000 US dollars for mainly Africans. So other Africans that want Ghana citizenship, this could work. And Solomon Islands is considering launching a citizenship program over the next couple of months for around 100 to 150,000 US dollars. We will see, because the Schengen area and the European Union will challenge that because it's cheaper than the other countries that have access to Europe, like in the Caribbean. If you want to get a second passport, a second citizenship through other ways that don't necessarily require an investment, maybe spending some time somewhere, maybe building ties, maybe having a family somewhere, you can check out this video right here on the fastest citizenships in the world that you can get legally in 2025 and moving forward. Check it out right here.